In the heart of a sprawling African landscape, where the sun painted the earth in hues of gold and crimson, there existed a village known as Ndimu. The people of Ndimu lived in harmony with the land, their customs steeped in ancient lore, and their stories passed down through the generations around crackling fires beneath starlit skies. Among these stories, one tale would etch itself into the annals of Ndimu's history, a tale of jealousy, betrayal, and unimaginable consequence. Once upon a time, in the village of Ndimu, there lived two stepsisters named Naya and Kalisha. Naya was known throughout the land for her beauty, but more than that, for her kindness and grace. Her most remarkable feature was her hair, which cascaded down her back in silken strands, glimmering like thread spun from midnight and moonlight. Elders claim that the river spirits blessed her at birth, giving her hair that shimmered with the power of life and fortune. Kalisha, on the other hand, was a girl of sharp wit and cunning heart. Though she bore beauty of her own, it was often overshadowed by her stepsister's radiance. The people of the village admired Naya openly, their praises a constant reminder to Kalisha of what she lacked. The two girls grew up under the same roof, yet their hearts drifted on separate currents. Naya, gentle and soft-spoken, tended to the village children and gathered herbs for the healers. Kalisha spent her days devising clever riddles and schemes, always yearning for acknowledgement that never quite came. They both shared a father, Chief Barika, the respected leader of Ndimu. Their mothers were gone, Naya's lost to a fever when she was a child, and Kalisha's from childbirth. Though Barika loved both daughters, he struggled to bridge the chasm growing between them. He told them stories by firelight of the river spirits and the importance of unity, hoping to sow threads of sisterhood in hearts already frayed. Kalisha's envy took root like a stubborn weed. The more the villagers adored Naya, the deeper her resentment grew. Their father, Chief Barika, loved them both, but even he could not shield Kalisha from the bitter comparisons whispered by villagers and visiting traders alike. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low and painted the skies with brilliant streaks of crimson and orange, the village square filled with merchants, drummers, and storytellers. A traveling masked dancer from a neighboring land spun tales of spirit warriors, his beaded mask catching the fire's glow. Laughter and music colored the air. Among them was an elder woman known as Mama Juma, revered for her wisdom and her ability to see beyond the physical world. Her eyes, deep-set and glimmering, held knowledge older than the trees. Mama Juma approached the girls, her gaze steady and ancient. She took Naya's hand and studied her hair, her weathered fingers brushing through the midnight strands. "Child," she murmured, "your hair holds the blessing of the river spirits. Guard it well, for should it fall into wicked hands, darkness will follow." Those words burrowed deep into Kalisha's mind, twisting her jealousy into dangerous intent. That night, Kalisha lay restless beneath her woven mat, her thoughts churning. How could mere strands of hair command such reverence? Why should Naya possess the favor of the spirits when she, Kalisha, was equally deserving? A dark thought took hold. If the hair was gone, would Naya's power be gone too? As the season of harvest arrived, the village prepared for the festival of Moon's Grace, a sacred night where the youth would dance, and the river spirits were honored. Lanterns were strung between tall baobab trees, and the women gathered brightly colored cloths to weave into sashes and headdresses. The air smelled of roasted yams, spiced meat, and sweet palm wine. Naya was chosen to lead the procession, her hair to be adorned with shells, beads, and river pearls. Her beauty on that night would symbolize the prosperity of Ndimu, and blessings would be sought through her. On the eve of the festival, while the household slept and the moon cast a silver path through the forest canopy, Kalisha crept into Naya's room. She carried a sharp obsidian blade, stolen from the sacred shrine where offerings to the river spirits were made. The obsidian glinted in the moonlight, cold and unforgiving. As Naya dreamed of rivers and moonlit skies, Kalisha severed her hair, gathering the long locks with trembling hands. The blade made no sound, but a gust of wind howled through the hut. The sacred beads shattered on the floor, and the oil lamp dimmed, leaving Kalisha alone in eerie silence. With her prize clenched tightly, Kalisha fled to the ancient fig tree on the edge of the village, a tree said to be as old as the earth itself. There, she buried the stolen hair, believing she had finally dimmed her stepsister's light and claimed her own chance at glory. At dawn, the village stirred. The women gathered water from the river, the men prepared offerings, and the children rehearsed their dances. Drums echoed softly through the morning mist. When Naya stepped from her hut, her hair shorn and ragged, a gasp rippled through the people. Children clutched their mothers' hands, and the elders exchanged uneasy glances. But instead of shame, Naya radiated a strange, otherworldly beauty. Her scalp shimmered like polished obsidian, and her skin glowed as if lit from within. Where her hair once flowed, a crown of blue flame flickered, neither burning nor smoking. The elders fell to their knees. The river spirits have claimed her fully, they whispered in awe. Kalisha, watching from the shadows, felt a chill coil around her heart. For all her plotting, she had not stripped her sister of grace, she had made her into something even greater. An ominous hush fell over Ndemu as the skies darkened. The sacred river overflowed its banks, and strange birds with iridescent feathers circled the village, their cries unlike any heard before. Mama Juma arrived, summoned by whispers on the wind. Her eyes glimmered like pools of midnight. She pointed a gnarled finger at Kalisha. "You have broken sacred law and drawn the spirit's ire." Kalisha trembled as the ground beneath her feet cracked, and the ancient fig tree withered in an instant, the buried hair turned to ash. A great serpent of water rose from the river, its eyes reflecting the endless depths, and spoke in a voice like rushing currents. "The heart of Ndemu shall not harbor jealousy and deceit." Naya, her voice now carrying the resonance of rivers and ancient stones, stepped forward. "Let there be no hatred in my heart. Jealousy is a sickness, let it be healed." The river spirits, moved by her mercy, commanded that Kalisha be exiled to the mountains to learn wisdom and humility. She would live among the hermits and the spirit keepers until she understood the weight of her deeds. Kalisha wept, for the first time understanding the bitterness she had harbored. "I will go," she whispered. Naya, now revered as the spirit blessed, restored the village's balance. The river receded, the skies cleared, and the fields bloomed twice over. From that day, hair never again defined beauty in Ndemu. Kindness, wisdom, and courage became the village's most cherished virtues. Festivals were held in honor of the spirit of forgiveness, and children were taught the tale of the two sisters as a lesson for generations. Kalisha, burdened by shame and regret, left Ndemu under the watchful eyes of the villagers. Her journey led her deep into the rugged hills beyond the great river, where mist clung to the treetops and the cries of wild creatures filled the nights. For days, she wandered without food, the memory of her betrayal haunting every step. At last, she stumbled upon a hidden enclave of hermits and spirit keepers, ancient men and women who had long forsaken the comforts of the village to live in harmony with the unseen world. Their leader, an aged seer named Elder Guma, welcomed Kalisha with stern eyes. "You come bearing the weight of envy," he said. "Here, you shall learn to cleanse your spirit." Kalisha was made to tend to sacred fires, gather herbs from perilous cliffs, and meditate by the spirit springs. Each day, she was tasked with recounting her sins to the wind, to the stones, and to the ancestral spirits. Back in Ndemu, Naya's connection to the spirits deepened. She could hear the voice of the river and see the shimmer of the ancestors in the morning mist. Villagers came to her with their worries, failing crops, ailing children, troubled hearts, and through rituals taught by Mama Juma, she eased their burdens. A council of elders declared her the spirit blessed, and for the first time in Ndemu's history, a woman would lead the sacred rites. Under her guidance, the village flourished. The fields yielded bountiful harvests, the river flowed clear and sweet, and harmony returned. Kalisha's penance was not limited to the mortal world. One stormy night, Elder Guma led her to the mouth of the spirit cave, a place where the veil between worlds thinned. There, Kalisha drank from a bitter brew of night-blooming flowers and closed her eyes. She found herself in a realm of endless waters, beneath a sky filled with stars that sang. A great serpent, the same spirit that had judged her, appeared. "Will you cast aside your envy and embrace humility?" the serpent asked. Kalisha wept and knelt. "I was blinded by my desire, and it poisoned my heart. Teach me to be whole again." The spirit placed a mark upon her brow, a shimmering blue sigil, and granted her one chance to atone. Seasons passed. Kalisha, now transformed in spirit and heart, made her way back to Ndemu. The villagers watched warily, but it was Naya who stepped forward. "Sister," Naya said, "have you found peace?" "I have," Kalisha whispered, tears spilling. "I carry the mark of the spirits and seek to serve, not take." Naya embraced her, and the river sang. Mama Juma declared that the spirits had forgiven her. In honor of unity and forgiveness, a new tradition was born. Each year, a festival of moon's grace was held where no single person was exalted above others. Stories of envy, redemption, and wisdom were shared, and every villager adorned themselves in colors representing virtues, kindness, courage, humility. The spirit-blessed sisters led together, Naya offering blessings and Kalisha guiding the youth in lessons of integrity and healing. As years turned to decades, the legend of Naya and Kalisha became more than a cautionary tale. It became a guide to life. Parents named their daughters after the sisters, and the fig tree that once bore the curse of jealousy was replanted, growing tall and strong, its branches shading the festival square. Naya's descendants became revered spirit keepers, and Kalisha's lineage produced wise counselors and healers. The sisters themselves passed into legend, their story carved in stone at the village gate. And so it was said, true beauty is not in hair or adornments, but in a heart unburdened by envy and a spirit tempered by grace. Years after the passing of Naya and Kalisha, a new generation rose in Ndemu. Among them were Abani and Keto, two young friends bound by loyalty and curiosity. As the festival of Moon's Grace approached, the young ones faced a trial, to seek a sacred stone from the spirit cave without the guidance of elders. Abani, headstrong, ventured too deep and was nearly lost to the spirit mists, but the teachings of Kalisha's tales led Keto to find her. Together, they discovered the stone and returned, proving that even the young must face their own darkness and learn courage. On the eve of the festival, a great serpent spirit appeared in the skies, the same spirit that once judged Kalisha. The elders, fearing it a sign of unrest, gathered at the teaching tree. Abani stepped forward, holding the sacred stone. "The spirit comes not in anger but in remembrance," she declared. The serpent descended, brushing its tail along the river, blessing the village anew. A new tradition was born, where each family told the story of an ancestor who overcame envy, fear, or hatred. Tales of Naya, Kalisha, and other forgotten souls filled the night air. Children lit small lanterns, sending them downriver as prayers of peace. The river glowed with 1,000 lights, and the ancestors were said to gather by the water's edge. Abani, Keto, and an elder healer named Mama Sefu formed a new council to guide Ndemu. The rule of the council was simple: no grievance would go unheard, no envy allowed to fester. Disputes were settled beneath the teaching tree, and forgiveness taught as an everyday practice. Deep in the forest, a hidden grove known as the Grove of Whispers was discovered. It was said the spirit spoke clearest there. Young seekers came to meditate, seeking wisdom or atonement. Abani herself received a vision of Kalisha, who urged her to never let pride divide the hearts of the people. Kalisha's writings, long kept safe by the elders, were bound into a tome known as the Keeper's Tome. It held teachings, songs, warnings, and blessings. Every spirit keeper and elder studied it, ensuring that wisdom and compassion remained the foundation of Ndemu's law. On a midsummer's morning, the villagers awoke to hear the river humming like a chorus of voices. The elders interpreted it as a message that the ancestors were pleased. That day, crops yielded double, and a rare flower known as the ancestors' bloom appeared by the water's edge, symbolizing the eternal bond between past and present. In her old age, Abani dreamed of a distant future where strangers from far lands would visit Ndemu, drawn by tales of the sisters and the festival of Moon's Grace. In her vision, people of many tongues sat beneath the teaching tree, sharing stories of envy conquered, love won, and forgiveness granted. The river still sang, and the serpent spirit watched from the clouds. As the final pages of the Keeper's tome were written, the last